So hello everyone. So welcome back to my YouTube channel, and we were doing the quantum chemistry. So in the last video lecture, that was the first lecture over the quantum chemistry, in which I had started the black body experiment, and in continuing with that, we had reached till here. You can see till here the amount of frequency we had discussed, like it depends upon the temperature, and we also concluded that what is the black body and what is the black body radiation. Let's look a little bit about it again, so that we will not so that you will get at least a revision of the previous lecture. So we had discussed that a black body is a body which do not reflect any of the light, or say reflection of that particular body is zero. Reflection of that particular body is zero. That all those bodies which have zero reflection can be called as black body. Am I clear or not? And this black body will not reflect. Try to understand. This black body will not reflect. It will emit the light in the form of electromagnetic radiation. So the electromagnetic radiation of all the frequencies we call it black body radiation. That means all the radiation emitted by the black body are known as the black body radiation. Am I clear or not? Okay, now we have seen that a relation with the temperature of that particular body. How? I had told you in the last lecture that a body which is getting heat from the cosmic waves, and that particular heat it's increasing the temperature of the body, and the amount of heat it absorbs, the black body absorbs, will higher the amount of heat absorbs, higher will be the temperature of the body, and higher amount of radiation will it emits. Higher amount of radiation it will emit. That means the amount of radiation it will emitted. The energy of the radiation it will emitted. The energy of the radiation it will emit depends upon the temperature of the body. Or we can say, since energy is directly proportional to frequency and inversely proportional to wavelength, we can say that temperature is directly proportional to frequency, and here I can write T directly proportional to nu max and inversely proportional to lambda max. Am I clear or not? So till up to here we had done in the last lecture. Now we will continue onwards. Let's see what so this is actually the graph which we obtained from the black body radiation experiment, which is demonstrating. First, try to look what in the x-axis we had represented the lambda that is the wavelength. We had represented the lambda, that is the wavelength, in the x-axis, and in the y-axis, don't get so much confused. It is actually the intensity. It is basically the intensity. In y-axis it is intensity. So this is the graph of intensity versus lambda. Alright, so what I said, the black body will emit all the frequency of light, or say the black body will emit the light of all wavelength. Alright, the black body will emit the light of all wavelength, but amount will vary. So in y-axis, intensity is like a amount. So here you can see the amount of some frequency, like at 500 lambda frequency the amount is very low, and at 2500 frequency the amount is quite low, but at 1500 wavelength at 1500 nanometer the amount is maximum. So it varies that some of amount it will emit is higher, and some of the radiation it emits the amount vary, it might be lower. Alright, so the amount varies from light to light, and that is why the higher the amount of the higher the amount of that particular wavelength, we see that particular color. What I say, suppose a body is emitting the red color very high, in a very large amount, so we will see that particular color only, and in a very little bit amount it will emitting yellow, violet and all, but it will not get seen. That's why what happens in when we see white light, when it passes through the prism, it splits into all of its color, but majorly what we see the red color, near to the red color, as usually we can see. So that actually varies. So the higher the amount, we see that particular color. So what this graph is actually suggesting, don't get confused with this graph, there is so much mess up here, but don't get confused. What it is actually showing, that as the lambda, that is wavelength, is increasing, as the wavelength of the light is increasing, the temperature of the body is getting slow down or getting decreases. What all this is suggesting? This is suggesting that higher the temperature of the body, lower will be the wavelength. Alright, higher will be the temperature of the body, lower will be the wavelength. This is a very good thing, this is a very amazing thing. You can tell the temperature of any of the body present in the universe by just analyzing what wavelength of light it actually emitting. Am I clear or not? You can tell and understand the temperature of the surface of that particular body, celestial body present in the universe, by just analyzing the wavelength of the light actually it is emitting. So this is a very groundbreaking experiment, black body experiment, and it is telling a lot of reality. So one important thing, this is actually the theoretical prediction, but now there is a much more to study, much more to know. So let's move on. So this is something I don't think it is very much necessary. This is something what is in y-axis. I said that it is the density, but actually it is the power density having unit energy upon volume into frequency. So that these things doesn't matter at all. But the thing that you have to understand is that the relation between the temperature and the wavelength of the emitted radiation and the temperature of the body. So you have to establish and understand this relation very quite and carefully. Alright, okay. Now the amazing law. You will going to get a lot of questions over this topic in GATE, NET and many of the exams. So what it is saying, Wien's displacement law. This is the Wien's displacement law. Very famous scientist. What he has said, he had described the graph which we had just seen. He described the graph what we had just seen, and he has said that the peak of the curve shifts toward longer wavelength as the temperature falls. So that's the thing that what I had already told. So this thing the Wien scientist has told to us and had given an empirical relation, which is the lambda peak into temperature equals to B, and B he called its Wien's constant and given the value of 2.89 and 10 to the power minus 3 meter Kelvin. So what this actually the relation By using this relation, you can tell the temperature of any of the body presented in the space or in the universe. This is very, very great groundbreaking experiment. Groundbreaking experiment. Try to understand. This is the thing. Lambda peak. You can just having the, for example, the light. Actually, the light you see. If you are able to find out the wavelength of that particular light, then you are next to know the temperature of the body from where that particular light is emitting. This is the depth of the topic. This is the depth of the topic. Alright. Okay. So what I had written here. This law is quite useful for measuring the temperature of the black body with a very higher temperature. You can see the example. But yeah, how the very quite thing it is that in the universe there are many and lakhs and crores of the bodies, and we cannot know the temperature of any of the bodies because we don't have any access to reach out there. Alright, we have no access to reach out of any we don't have any access to reach to the sun. So we have the theories, we have the experiments, we have the science. By using that, we can tell and tell so many of the things. We can tell so many of the things. This is very, very groundbreaking thing what I had just told to you. Alright, now moving ahead. So this is the theoretical prediction, because before the quantum there was the classical theory. And this is the theory which completely explains the light behavior from the light behavior, or say the electromagnetic behavior of a light. Completely valid it was. Alright, so that is why here I had written down, but it has a lot of variations when we had done the black body experiment. But when we did the black body experiment, we found a lot of variations over here. Let's look over it. Okay, so this is rho. Let me clear some of the basic terminologies, basic symbols which I had written down here. So they are rho. This is rho is the spectral density. Spectral density is something what I had told you, the intensity which is represented in the y-axis of the graph which we had just studied. In the y-axis there was the intensity. So that particular intensity is we are calling here spectral density, and its unit I had told you, energy upon volume into frequency. Alright, and it depends upon two things, that is the frequency and the temperature. And from that graph only you can say this, you can tell this. Alright, so there is a homework to you. Try to figure out from that particular graph that how the thing which we had represented in the y-axis, that is the intensity, how it is depending over the frequency and the temperature. Alright, so it's your kind of assignment you people have to do. Okay, now moving ahead. So here, as I had already told you, spectral density is a function of frequency and temperature. Okay, see in that particular expression was speed of light. Okay, and E oscillation is the average energy of oscillating dipole, because in the solid there are the molecules, and if they are the molecules, then definitely they should follow a dipole. The electron density shift is actually the dipole. So in the molecule there is definitely a dipole is present, and that particular dipole is when it oscillates, because in the solid there is oscillation. There are oscillations which are there. So the energy of those oscillations here we had represented by the E over bar and oscillation. Am I clear or not? So nothing to worry about this expression. This don't need to mug up. Just write it down. Just write it down. Don't need to. There's nothing like need to mug it up or learn a lot. Just it is a thing that you have to note it down in your copy. That when you will have learn about this, then that expression particularly reflects over you, so that you can conclude many of the things from that expression only. Alright, now the thing next we have is the Rayleigh-Jeans law or J law. Gotcha thing, very amazing thing you will be going to study. Rayleigh-Jeans law. Okay, what Rayleigh and Jeans did, they used the classical mechanics. By using the classical mechanics, and they put the energy of oscillation as kBt, because this is actually the kinetic energy of the molecule. And this is the thing that we usually study in the equipartition theorem. That the average energy of oscillation, which is actually the concept of classical. Try to highlight this point. This is actually the concept from the classical. So in the classical, what we study, average energy of oscillation as kBt. Okay. So now what Rayleigh and Jeans did, they had put the value of the average energy of oscillation as kBt, which is actually from the classical behavior. But this and he got this particular expression, this expression that rho nu t, that is equals to 8 pi kBt nu square upon c cube d nu. This is the expression. Where did he put this value? In the previous expression where I had just shown you. Okay, so in that expression he put the value of average energy of oscillation, and finally we get this one. Okay, so what happens when he got this expression and plotted in the graph? When he plot it in the graph, what we see a ultraviolet catastrophe. We see the ultraviolet catastrophe. What it is ultraviolet catastrophe? Don't get confused in this graph, because here many things are written down. So don't get confused what I am telling. Just focus over here. What I am telling. Okay. So what happens when Rayleigh and Jeans put the average energy value as kBt and obtained the relation, and when it plotted the relation in the graph, he obtained this curve that is represented by the dotted lines. Okay, so this is actually the demolition, destruction. That is why here I am using UV catastrophe. Catastrophe means demolition, destruction. Because why we are using this word? Try to understand. Try to coordinate with me. What happens at higher lambda? You see, at higher lambda, it is actually following the same pattern which this bell-like curve is following. This Rayleigh-Jeans curve, which is actually represented by the dotted lines here, following the same pattern at higher lambda as this bell-like curve is following. Am I clear or not? Okay. But the same curve, which dotted curve, RJ curve, at lower lambda. At lower lambda, going to infinite. But theoretically, ideally, what it should be by achieving at a maximum position, it would have to go down. As what we are seeing in the bell-like curve. So the same dotted lines RJ curve should get down, but it wouldn't. It is going to infinite. That is why what we are calling it is not valid at lower temperature region. Lower frequency, lower wavelength region. At lower lambda, it is not valid. And you see, at lower lambda, this actually at a very higher temperature, because where it is actually violating at a very higher temperature. Higher temperature means at a very higher density, and higher density you will get at a higher temperature. What is this thing that we had done in the last graph, where we had seen the same thing. So at a very high temperature and very low wavelength, it is showing the deviation. It is showing the deviation, and you know that at a lower lambda, it is actually falls under the ultraviolet region. It is actually falling over the ultraviolet region. So that is why we are saying that the ultraviolet catastrophe, also UV catastrophe, that in the UV region, at a lower wavelength region, it is showing the deviation. So RJ law fails at lower wavelength and higher temperature. Am I clear or not? Am I clear or not? Don't look up to the other things, just try to focus what I am just trying to say. Okay. So when he uses the classical theory, he gets the result which is actually violating the curve at lower wavelength and higher temperature. Okay. Now I think now we have 21 minutes video, and I think this is very much sufficient for today. Otherwise, if I will start the Planck's theory, because now onwards the correction in the graph will be would be carrying out by the Planck. So it is quite a large theory, so I don't want to leave it in a half, so that you will because you will not be able to connect if I will leave it in a half way. So what I suggest to myself, that I will make the next video, I will make the next video, and there I will cover the Planck's theory. Alright, so that's all for today. See you in the next video. Bye bye, have a good day.